Hi everyone, this is Balázs from RacingBrick. LEGO revealed their latest Star Wars Ultimate Collector Series set today. No, not this one, that's from last year, and not this one either. So here is the 75355 X-Wing Starfighther. In this video I show you all the details of the set using the official super high resolution photos and videos, briefly go over the history of the LEGO UCS and X-Wing sets, and compare the new set to the previous UCS X-Wing release. Oh, by the way, a question for all Star Wars experts watching this video. This is the box from the previous UCS X-Wing set called Red 5. That is the Death Star 2 in the background, right? I don't think I saw Luke's X-Wing flying anywhere near this Death Star in Return of the Jedi, so what's going on here? I know others have used that call sign too, but R2-D2 is sitting in there, so it must be Luke's ship. Please drop me your thoughts in the comment section. First, let's briefly go through the numbers of the new set. It's an 18+ release, has 1,949 pieces, costs 240 euros or dollars, and it will be available on the 1st of May for LEGO VIPs and, of course, from May the 4th for everyone else. I can already see the many questions in the comments section, why an X-Wing again? Well, like it or not, it's still definitely the most iconic spaceship from the Star Wars universe. When LEGO started the whole Star Wars theme back in 1999, according to most sources, the very first set was the 7140 X-Wing. A year later, the first two Ultimate Collector Series sets came out, one of which was the TIE Interceptor, the other is the 7191 X-Wing Fighter. Over the years, dozens of LEGO X-Wings were made in various sizes and styles. Here's one from my son's collection, this is Poe's X-Wing, here's a tiny one from the Trench Run diorama, and here's a very special one, the 2019 Employee Gift Christmas X-Wing. There was another UCS set that came out 10 years ago, the 10240 Red 5 X-Wing Starfighther, which I will use to compare with the new edition. So just to be clear, LEGO doesn't keep releasing certain sets over and over again because they run out of ideas. Well, most of the time, I hope. The average life of a set on the shelves is about 2 years, then it is retired. Yes, you can buy old sets on Bricklink or on eBay, but that's not how most people get their sets, so sooner or later LEGO will release a new version. So why is the old version being phased out then? Well, a new edition means there's a chance to revise and improve the design. Time to compare these two here. At first glance they look almost identical, yes they are both X-Wings, and both are supposed to be Luke's X-Wing with the call sign Red 5. Interestingly, the earlier version was actually called Red 5 X-Wing Starfighter, while the new one is simply called X-Wing Starfighter. I'm not sure why they changed the name, because unlike the previous version, this one includes a Luke minifigure as well as R2-D2, and it is visibly the 5th member of the Red Squadron, so it must surely be the same ship. Now let's take a look at all the details and changes. It may not be obvious, but the build is very different. The overall dimensions are a bit difficult to compare at this point, as the new model was apparently measured on the stand, but the width of the new model is 44 cm and the old one is 47 cm, and doing a quick count of the studs between the cockpit and the nose, I measured 20 studs on both, so the overall proportions should be very similar. Since I wouldn't dare to use a frame from a Disney movie, I will use this detailed Revell model as a reference. What we can see right away is an update that many have been asking for. Previously the sides of the hull on the LEGO model were flat, the new version seems to have a proper hexagonal shape, which is a very nice change. I think the new nose cone works better with the slanted pieces, before there was a big gap in the middle, the new version looks more realistic. Behind it there are proper yellow tiles, then comes the cockpit. Another criticism of the old version was the stickered canopy, it was a pain to apply the transparent stickers and didn't look good. I'm sure the new version will be printed, and the interior will be updated as well. We are getting a larger instrument panel, the top one seems to be a sticker, I think the smaller one in front of the pilot is printed. The targeting device uses a black roller skate element, it's a nice detail. R2 sits deeper this time, which seems less accurate than in the previous version, but the position is slightly different in other photos, so I'm not sure what's going on here. This position, however, makes R2 look more disproportionate than it actually is. The gribbling behind the cockpit has been updated, mainly because this is where we find a knob that controls the opening mechanism for the wings. This seems to be a much quicker action than on the previous version, not sure about the mechanism itself since it's not visible in any of the photos, but it should be more similar to this version with the rubber bands than the previous UCS build. That had a worm gear driving the scissor mechanism inside, which was much slower. About the engines, the previous version had a 4-stud wide structure, now it seems to be updated to a surprising 6-stud wide design. That makes either the wings look too small or the engines too big, I'm not sure, but the proportions seem to be a bit off. I assume the truth should be somewhere in between these two sizes based on the Revel model, but I'm sure many of you won't like this new solution. The upper wings previously had a big stickered piece that is now brick built, which I like. We still get the 5 dark red tiles here, indicating the call sign Red 5. The laser cannons have been updated as well. I like the overall design, but those minifigure flippers are a bit odd. I mean, it's a fun detail, but I feel like this change was made just to add the new part, because the flashback suppressors didn't have those wider ends in the movie. The whole thing is C-shaped with flat sides. The design of the exhaust has stayed pretty much the same, we still have the trans purple pieces inside. The rear hatch and the surrounding area definitely looks better, with more detail. I like the minifig ice skates and other details, even the controller piece seems to have a similar looking device on the original. The stand seems to be pretty simple this time. We get the updated design of the UCS plug that we first saw in the Technic Ferrari Daytona set, there's no sticker, the whole thing is printed. Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of this solution as the central injection molding point is very distracting on these parts. We get a very nice and detailed Luke minifigure in his pilot uniform, fully printed, dual molded legs, and he has a spot on the stand. So, I think there are some great improvements over the previous version, especially in terms of the shape of the hull, but there are also some questionable upgrades as well, like the size of the engines. I'm looking forward to seeing the build in person. I won't be doing an early review, but I think I will purchase the set at a discount later. As for the price, it is 240 euros or dollars, the previous one was $200 10 years ago. I don't think I need to fire up the inflation calculator to see that it's pretty much in the same range. That's still a lot of money for a display item, but I don't think we should complain about it any more than we did 10 years ago, and I'm sure you can get the new one for around $200 if you are patient enough. So folks, let me know what you think of this release, if you like the upgrades or not, if you think we need another UCS X-Wing, or if you would rather see a U-Wing, or something even more exotic, let's talk about it in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe with notifications, as more exciting LEGO videos are coming soon. See you next time, bye bye.